Hello, salutations. What to do? It's not the gamer, all father, Durag gang, the vibes like scrap. Let's get it. Happy not Friday. It is Sunday, and we are back for the Aftershow Podcast. Decided that it was better to reschedule than to just postpone this for another week. We were going to do it Friday, but things happen. Had to reschedule. Jay may or may not have fallen asleep, so we don't know.
I love it when I make a mistake, I just own it. But when other people make mistakes, they blame it on other people.
Reparations. Anyway, Casual
I guess I'll take it.
Casual Avenger is currently eating some deep dish and won't be able to join us, but he is back on YouTube. I caught a little bit of his return stream, so we should be able to see Casual Avenger more often in theory, but in the meantime, we got some stuff to talk about today. I got all my tabs lined up. We're going to talk some Wonder Woman 3, some Fantastic Four casting. We got some writer strike updates, a little bit of potential Scarlet Witch news. We also got some more Secret Invasion shitting on to do, and a little update about the whole Jonathan Majors incident. So
yeah,
look out for that. We got Last Avenger Standing Cap Tay up in here, as well as the man himself, Spider-Man. What's up, everybody? We also have an announcement. If you haven't seen already, we hit our little 500 subscriber threshold, so we are now on one of the monetization tiers of YouTube. So yeah, we don't get ads yet, but you guys can drop super chats, super stickers, all that good stuff. You can also become members of the channel. I set that up already. If you hit exclamation mark join in the chat, Nightbot will hook that up, or hit join on the video. If you do so, you will have the ability to join and become a backstage pass member, because get it, it's the after show. It's about 99 cents a month, and you get some awesome perks like some cool custom badges and what have you. And we got our first member, Jayshockblast. We'll take it.
Hey, listen, somebody's got to do it, right?
Thank you, Jayshockblast, for popping the cherry. If you would like to join Jayshockblast and get access to all of those little perks, just 99 cents a month, and you get some cool. You got a nice little badge next to your name. You get some nice emotes that you can use in the chat. It's a nice way to support the channel and what have you. We got Venom in the building. What's up? What's up? What's up, the Space Con? How you doing?
Let me tell you real quick, okay?
Go ahead, Mr. Bless.
So Evo 2023 is
I heard
this
about
weekend, all right? And it's been phenomenal, all right? And PlayStation, for those that don't know, actually bought Evo. So this is the first big Evo, I think, since they bought it.
That's
might have been last year.
Sony exclusive Evo?
I guess so.
They're buying the best now?
Well, I mean, they're using PlayStations at all the different games. So, I guess except Killer Instinct, but whatever. So literally 30 to 40 minutes before the show started, Mortal Kombat dropped another trailer introducing 3 new characters that are playable: Reptile, Havoc, and Astra, and 1 new cameo. So I scrambled to do a reaction, put it all together, upload it, make a thumbnail. Couldn't they haven't emailed out the assets. Oh wait, hold on. Are you all right? At 7:56, they finally emailed out the assets. So
sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah. So I was trying to get it all done. I finally get it all done. I look at the clock. It's 7:57. I'm like, fuck, I gotta pee. So I got back with 23 seconds left on the clock. So yeah,
he made pretty good time.
It was a quick one.
The man was moving. He He probably didn't even wash his hands. You nasty.
I did wash my hands. Always wash my hands. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Shout out to Captain for becoming our second member. He just got himself a backstage pass. I count him as technically the first member because Jay doesn't count.
Yeah. So. Listen, one of the benefits of being married is my wife loves anything with the good smells. So we have a closet. We have a candle closet and like soaps to last us a year. So I think the one we have now is like lavender or something. I don't remember. I like the fruity ones, but she likes the flower ones.
Yeah, that absolutely sounds like a marriage thing to have.
It also sounded very white. I understand that, but
speaking of white, I just saw a video on Twitter before I came on here. The boat incident. So the funny.
So like, first of all, mad respect to all the people that like rushed in to save the day. Some of them crossed the line though. The dude that like came out with a steel chair to the lady, I mean, I kind of feel like that was a little over the top.
I mean, the steel chair to the guy, perfectly fine.
Fine. The lady, that's where he crossed the line.
Might not want to, hit the lady with the steel chair. I appreciate the effort, but we got some restraint here. But overall, I appreciate it. For those that don't know,
those people were dipshits.
It's a super viral video. Apparently, there was some boating place, some party boats activities, and black security guard was like, "Hey, you guys got to move your boats." You said it to these group of white guys. White guys apparently didn't take kindly to being talked to by someone of that color, and just straight up just jumped the guy. And then
they just started punting. It was stupid.
And then all of a sudden, like, every black person in the area just came rushing and beat their ass. It was insane.
they weren't even like putting up a front. Like it was full.
It was on site. They were ready. It was not a bunch of talking. It was not a bunch of let's break this up. No, fades were ran.
One dude actually pulled an Aquaman from the other side of the little river.
Swam across.
That dude is the real MVP. Like you need a co-pilot that runs with you like that. All right, that will swim across water.
That was a good swim. Like he had that was at least 100-yard swim.
Yeah, you could fit like because it was like one of those big river boats.
Yeah,
you could have probably fit like 3 of them side by side across. That was a swim.
And he as soon as he popped out the water, he wasn't even tired. He was just ready to run the face.
Yeah.
Like what? They could not escape, y'all. It looked like a race war, and the blacks won.
Yeah.
It was a say lesson as always. You will find out if you F around.
Yeah. That whole thing, like I don't understand it, man. Like you just gotta ask to move your boat. Just move your goddamn boat.
Literally, just move the boat.
Just move the boat.
He didn't push them. He didn't attack. He was like, "Yo, bro, y'all gotta move the boat." And he was like,
I do like how after he got hit the first time,
he just threw his hat up.
Like, flipped his hat off.
You probably don't know his name, but it was Bobby Schmurder.
I did see a comment of that.
Yeah, he was a famous rapper. He had in his video, he famously threw his hat up there and did the dance. I guess the security guards channeling his Bobby Schmurder before ready to throw hands, but that was crazy.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I will say, yeah, for sure, definitely don't condone the white ladies who got hit with a chair. I mean, I don't particularly care that much that they got their ass beat because they jumped in it too. So,
I don't disagree that, like, listen, if you don't get protected by the fact that you're a lady, if you try to throw some swings,
you jumped it, like, you see what's going on. Your people jump the security guard. Now you're paying the consequences. You see what's happening. You see asses are getting whooped. You jump in there, start throwing hands. You're catching one.
There's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference between like trying to separate and like diffuse and like going in as a combatant. and there's no confusion there. They went in with their fists flying.
I saw one of them got thrown overboard.
Into the water. Yeah,
that was correct.
Yeah,
God, that was insane. Like that, I did that one, but I didn't see any of the MK1 stuff. But definitely go check out Jay's reaction video.
Yeah, literally just happened. Reptile, like Steezy says, Reptile does in fact look crazy. They show his human form and his like lizard form. Absolutely dope. Havoc looks dope. Like rips his arm off and starts beating a lady with it. Ashra, I'm not too familiar with, but she looked pretty cool. Kind of looked like Chronicus, only in like a more human form.
I don't care much for any of those people except Reptile. So let me pull that up real quick for the people in the chat, because I'm a professional. Is this him?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's his ninja form.
That's a clean design.
You got Stryker in the back as a cameo. So the cameos are kind of like they're like like second fighters in the background. Are you in the not Mortal Kombat, the WB press site?
I do have access to that actually.
Actually, they haven't uploaded it there yet. I just got. Oh, they might have more. Yeah, that's Ashra. She's interesting. There's the trailer itself. Wow, they even slapped on a Shaq News there.
Let's see what they're doing here. Let's do a quick reaction.
Yeah.
You can give us a preview of your reaction video.
Earthrealmers aren't ready to see the real me.
So how does it work? You just shape shift into anything you want?
This is Johnny Cage and Kung Lao.
Okay.
Natural form.
Okay, here the Evo crowd.
Yeah. So there's Reptile and Baraka.
Okay. This looks really good.
Yeah, this game's gonna be massive. Katana Melina.
You misread my intentions, princess.
So in this story, Melina is just getting the sickness that like makes her mouth go all shark tooth. This is Ashra.
Reptile looks pretty crazy in combat. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can't wait to play as him. One of my best videos for Mortal Kombat 11 was how to find him in the crypt. I think it has like 400,000 views.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got some ninja warrior stuff here. But I think she's like a demon.
I want to see some Homelander gameplay though.
Yeah.
Some Omni-Man.
So here's Havoc. Havoc, obviously crowd favorite.
Yep.
This is our first look at a really demonic background. Watch, he's gonna rip his arm off and beat her with it.
Jeez, that is hardcore. Yikes.
And that's Serena, I believe. I think that's what the email said. And she is a new cameo. His arm like came apart as he was fighting there, and like he stabbed her with the bones.
Damn.
This is definitely a game I got to stream on Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Or Kick. My YouTube channel is going to get age restricted. My video is going to get age restricted covering this game.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. There are definitely ways that you can go around it. I did not actually have as many videos demonetized. So that was Stryker.
Nice.
As some other people. But I definitely had some that got age restricted. None purely demonetized though, just age restricted.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it on Kick and Twitch.
Yeah. But Reptile looks so sick.
I might have to apply to get myself a copy since I know we're getting Homelander and Omni-Man
and Peacemaker.
and Peacemaker.
I mean, I know you don't probably care
Don't
about
really care.
Peacemaker as much,
Don't really.
but
Don't really.
so,
Okay.
This is going to be quite the game.
Got Casual in the chat and in the actual stream.
There
Hop
he
on in
is.
here. Hop on in here and join this reaction.
Yo.
It's like Casual finished his deep dish early.
Actually, I had to make a tough choice. This show started right around the time Dennis finished up, so it was like, do I want dinner or do I want to make the podcast? And obviously, I guess I love you guys more than dinner, so
Wise
here
choice.
I am.
Wise choice. Welcome back, Casual Avenger. We were just talking about you behind your back. Glad that you managed to show up on the pod.
Yeah,
So-
so I didn't miss too much.
No, we just started. We didn't even technically go into the any of the planned segments yet. We just started talking about that boat brawl, and then we went right into MK1 because of the breaking news.
But yeah, just I just watched the MK trailer before you guys watched it to kind of get up to speed. I love what they did with Reptile. When I first saw the image of him in human form, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what is that? But it's like, okay, I see what they're cooking over there. It's dope.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a Reptile guy. Mainly because I haven't played Mortal Kombat games in years, but I was always a Reptile fan, especially after the original MK1 movie, that Mortal Kombat 95, 96 movie.
Yeah.
All-time classic. still love it. That sequel, not so much, but but that Reptile scenes, oh, that was a goated. Love that movie.
Yeah. I was just talking about that not too long ago with some coworkers. So just talking about how Mortal Kombat and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, those were like the biggest movies, during that time for kids.
And shit, they still hold up. I mean, the effects are ass, but for especially on Mortal, but they use a lot more practical effects. Like that was a good thing about not being overly reliant on CGI. Those movies tended to age better. The problem with the second one was that many problems with the second one was that they tried to lean into the CGI and
yeah, it's like even as a kid we were like, bro, this is bad. Like, the kids aren't even that critical and stuff, and we're like, what is this?
Yeah, like because I remember the first Power Ranger movie was lit because they used a lot of practical effects.
Yeah, the suits look better and everything.
It looked clean as hell. So you can still watch it to this day and it'll still hold up. But yeah, some of that, oof, no. No.
Also, yesterday, just to cover some things while we're just chopping it up at the beginning, I got to go to Fan Expo Boston.
Oh yeah, I saw you met you met a controversial figure. We love Stephen Amell here, but he if you didn't hear, he got a little canceled on Twitter.
Yeah, I really don't think what he said was that bad, and I really feel like that's like a whole nother story that I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to get into the strike stuff.
Yeah, I did get to meet Stephen Amell again. Always just an amazingly cool dude. And I got to meet for the first time David Ramsey, who played John Diggle on Arrow. Might be one of the coolest people I ever met. So walk up to him. He looks at me. He goes, "Have we met before?" I'm like, "I wish." He goes, "Man, your doppelganger's out there somewhere." I'm like, "Okay, well." I just told him how much I appreciated Arrow and all that, and then he signed my John Diggle as Green Arrow pop, which is one of my favorite I had anyway. And then
probably one of the better ones you have.
Yeah, I love that one. And he, I was like, oh, I got a picture too. So he's really long arms, so he like literally sat there and he took like 15 pictures, and he like just like every angle. That's why there's one where we're both like looking like crazy down at it. So, but yeah, I got lucky too because I was like the second to last person that he met with, before him and Stephen Amell had a panel, and
Okay.
I was stressing because I had already been in line for an hour, and I just wanted to go home, and I wanted to do this, walk through the show floor, and then just bounce. And I did not want to have to wait for the panel to happen, so got in there just in the nick of time and
made some memories. But you'll be sad to know that he forgot to ask him to be on our podcast.
I was so stressed about getting it done that I did in fact do that. So
I actually checked out his cameo. Very, very cool guy. He puts a lot of effort into those cameos. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to pay to send him a message to invite him on the podcast because Jay forgot to ask him while he was there.
Listen,
I mean, it's Jayshockblast. Anybody is only a money bag away from an interview. So
true. I mean, I'm guessing he didn't ask Steven either. that would have been a nice.
I kind of feel like, so here's the thing. All right, here's my press pass. Okay, I had a press pass, and there are some rules, like you're not supposed to ask for interviews. You're supposed to go through official channels and through them, not like their publicists. So I would love to see her and pretend that that's the reason I didn't do it. The reality is I forgot. But even if I did, I might have actually gotten in trouble. And you
technically weren't asking them for an interview. You're technically asking them to come on the podcast at a later date at a non-affiliated event.
That's fair, but that's also not a conversation I want to have with the Fan Expo people, because I think Fan Expo is actually in Chicago next weekend. I think it's the 11th through the 13th. So Fan Expo is like an actual big franchise that goes to all the cities, and they're run by Reed Pop, who also runs like PAX East and PAX Prime. Was supposed to run E3. So they're just somebody I don't want to get on the bad side of.
Jay's pretty much just trying to stack up excuses for why he forgot.
Yeah, well, no, I'm being honest, and I'm going to be honest. Like, they approve me every year for Fan Expo Boston for a press pass, and I don't really think they get anywhere near as much out of me for those events.
Do you don't even vlog? Like, what do you use the press pass for?
Just to get in and be there.
Just go.
Yeah.
There's a press pass. He just goes in like a fan and just gets his stuff signed and bounces.
Well, that's the thing. Like all these cons and everything, when you have a press pass, like it doesn't actually get you any extra access to the people. You still have to go through them to get like approval for interviews or whatever. You do get more information, and there are sometimes like press junkets. Like at New York Comic Con last year, I was part of Mindy Kaling was doing something for Velma.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. We didn't know that yet. Okay.
I mean,
and yeah, and it was only for the media people that signed up for it. And I went to do it. I was supposed to be in that press conference, but they moved it back like 3 hours. I'm like, I'm not waiting. I have other stuff to do. I'll try to come back.
So basically, it sounds pretty useless so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, other than getting into the event for free, that is worth everything. But I tweet when I'm there, and I try to post stuff around on my socials.
How much is the event without the pass?
Like $70 a day.
A day? Okay.
Yeah. So listen, it costs them nothing to let somebody in. They get a little bit out of it, I guess. They don't get anywhere near as much out of it as they do like New York Comic Con. I always try to film the booths, but there's not anything like that at this one. New York Comic Con, you've got like all the big companies come out. Like Marvel has a booth, and I always do a video of the Dragon Ball booth because people watch it.
Even though Jay doesn't know any of the characters.
I know there's Monkey D. Luffy.
He's trending today, but no, wrong one. Shout out to all the One Piece fans who got their new transformation, and shout out to Steezy. That's our second member, third if you count Jayshockblast, which I don't. Thank you for getting yourself a backstage pass. Enjoy all those emotes and badges. I made them all myself. No help.
I do like that there's a cap.
Oh yeah. I mean, gotta have the cap emoji. I had a cap emoji because just for Jay.
Throw the cap up.
Listen, we've already had one race war today. Don't gang up on me.
Don't worry. I'll let the reaction of sound effects do the talking if you get out of line. And also Capte loves the cap. I remember Capte loves his cap emojis, so
yeah,
had to make sure he was represented in the chat. Just like couldn't have emojis and not have a cap for Capte. So we'll get into our first actual planned story that is related to comic-y stuff, because we got some updates about some projects that somehow are existing. This is going to be an interesting one, because we were under the impression that the DCU was getting rebooted under Snyder. The whole idea was like, okay, well, it's not like I don't like Henry Cavill. It's just like we're doing our own thing. We're changing direction. So, the Snyderverse, say goodbye, hello to the Gunverse. And after what happened with the Flash, just like, oh, what was that? But whatever. But now we're hearing, according to Gal Gadot, she is working with Gunn and Safran to actually do a third Wonder Woman. And shout out to Typical for our fourth member for Backspace, if you count Jayshockblast, which I don't. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you. Thank you for supporting the channel. ! Join. It's only 99 cents a month.
I love it how this has turned into the Jayshockblast slander hour.
Get used to it. We got casual back. So we got makeup for lost times. So this to me is interesting, because we thought that the whole Gal Gadot Wonder Woman thing wasn't going to happen. It was a little curious that she popped up in the Flash and Ben Affleck was there, but Henry Cavill was literally intentionally removed. Pretty much everyone was there. They had, except for Cyborg and Henry Cavill. But before we had heard that Patty Jenkins turned in a plan for Wonder Woman 3, and they were like, "No, you're out of there." And after what happened with Wonder Woman 2, and we thought Gal Gadot was done, but now she just came out while she was on her press tour and said that actually she's developing a new Wonder Woman movie with Gunn and Safran, which means this isn't the reboot that we thought it was going to be. So what do you guys think?
I think, just to start off, sorry, Casual.
No,
she's not supposed to be talking about work.
She's not. Well,
what is she on a press tour for, talking about future work that she's working on?
Yeah, she was actually funny enough, she's promoting her upcoming Netflix movie, Heart of Stone.
So like, that's not supposed to be allowed.
Correct.
Like, I actually saw a video somebody made making fun of Zachary Levi, who, by the way, was sitting next to David Ramsey.
Oh, nice.
And they're making fun of him because
he's doing a Spy Kids reboot, right?
He was doing something, some like panel, and he's like, "So the rules of this are just kind of strange. I'm not allowed to talk to you about anything I've ever done or anything that I have coming up." And like, basically, I feel like there's like this hive mind. If you don't like, thanks, Steezy.
I'm working on it.
I just feel like there's like this hive mind when it comes to the strike, of like, if you're not like 100% pro whatever they say, you're just 100% the enemy. I guess unless you're Gal Gadot.
Apparently, because I didn't see anything in the article about. Oh, by the way, she's not supposed to be talking about this or promoting it. Is she SAG? I know she. I assume she would have to be SAG.
I don't know. I would think so too. And like you would ask the same question about Stephen Amell, like, but like if they're not, like I'm sure people, the hive mind is going to say, well, you know, they're scabs, you know, in this case, or you know, like you have to be, you know.
Okay. So, all right. So she is SAG, but according to CNN, her comments about Wonder Woman 3 were technically before the actors went on strike. So she's in the clear.
Okay.
Jay sound disappointed.
He was ready to go in.
Listen,
these damn double standards, these women.
I'll run through a wall for Stephen Amell, man. Like that, not only am I such a huge fan of Arrow, but like both times that I've met him, he's just really made me feel like, you know, like the experience you want when you meet somebody that you look up to, you know. And I will always appreciate that because both times he was like super cool and like really. And same thing with David Ramsey. Like they really like gave me their attention. You know, I met Katie Sackhoff and nothing against her, but like it was kind of when COVID was still ending, and she was just kind of whatever, you know. And she had like this big window between us and wasn't even accepting selfies. And I appreciate and understand people that like want to protect themselves, but I don't know. Maybe if I met her again, it would have been different. But
maybe Jay. Not all women are bad.
I'm aware.
Did Steven remember you?
No, God no. I wouldn't expect him to. but that's okay. David Ramsey remembered me.
Which is hilarious because you actually have met Stephen Amell multiple times.
Oh, that was only my second time meeting him. But think of how many people he meets like every week.
But yeah,
he's been doing a bunch of these events.
But how often does he meet Jayshockblast?
Twice.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I will say that the first time I met him, he did remember some of the people because apparently it was like the 40th time they were meeting him. Like they just go to every show.
Well,
so.
I mean, if you see someone 40 times,
I would hope. Yeah.
Well, Lejean from Seven Dust, whenever he sees me, he remembers me, and he always treats me like family. So there you go.
Oh, well.
And I've seen them 31 times.
Oh well, in that case, but
and the rest of the Seven Dust too.
It would be much more impressive if it was Steven No, but you know we can't have everything. So Casual, what do you think of the whole Wonder Woman 3 thing happening? Do you think this confirms that James Gunn does in fact hate Henry Cavill's guts and was capping about this reboot stuff?
I believe it confirms that in a lot of people's mind, like he's never going to beat those allegations at this point. But I mean, honestly, for a universe that hasn't gotten off the ground yet, I feel like they're really splitting audiences already. Like we haven't even seen anything from this universe yet, and it's already sounding chaotic, unfocused, and like a lot more of the same. It's like we took a step to the side instead of a step forward, and it's like it's WB at this point, and it's like I don't know how much James Gunn can do for them. Like he, can make a solid superhero movie. He's proven that, multiple times with the Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad movie he made and Peacemaker. But he also hyped up the Flash, and he tried to gas these movies up a little harder than what was needed, especially for a Flash movie that ultimately didn't do much outside of introducing George Clooney as Batman again for some reason.
I disagree. It did a lot. It was the one of the worst performing movies in cinema history.
Well, it didn't do anything for the future of the DCU or the money for WB. It didn't do anything on those fronts, which is what they were hoping for going in, I guess.
I believe it was their least profitable movie in their company's history.
And they were counting on that too.
they were like, we're cutting the Batgirl movie for tax purposes, but this Flash one, we got to keep that one. That's the winner. Oof.
Yeah, and I was looking at a tweet. I believe that was yesterday or the day before yesterday. It was some person, just trying to equate James Gunn, campaigning for them to do rewrites and reshoots for the Flash movie as being the same as he himself rewriting the movie, and like, oh well, he's the reason that movie failed with his rewrites. He didn't actually rewrite it. He suggested they do some rewrites and reshoots. Oh, well, that's the same thing. It's like, I don't think those two things are the same. So it's like, people really have it in for him at this point. And like I said, the optics of him not liking Henry Cavill as being the reason for the recasting decision with Superman is you're split in the audience, like what we were talking about last time. Like that stuff affects the box office. it really does, and it's tough, man. It's like, and it's like every movie we see coming out nowadays is struggling with stuff like that. Like somebody's taking a stance against whatever movie you make. The new TMNT movie, people aren't seeing that because of the changes with April. Yeah. It's like it's never ending at this point.
Secret Invasion, I wish I hadn't seen because completely ruined Nick Fury, and there's a crazy thing. Secret Invasion was so bad, it made other better MCU movies worse because they said that Rhodey has been a Skrull since Civil War. Which makes no sense. But
there's people challenging that. They really are challenging that. It's like he literally has on the exact same hospital gown, bro. Like you look at him going into the MRI machine for the Civil War. Look at where you find him at the end of Secret Invasion. That's literally the same gown. I don't know how it stayed clean for all these years. So he's been in there since 2016, allegedly.
I mean, his hair hasn't grown either. So
yeah, it's like, are they grooming and cleaning these people? I doubt it.
Gotta assume whatever the trance thing they put in on him just like pauses them in time,
just preserves them in time. Did he go to a hospital after Endgame, or is because otherwise
that must be where they got him? They seem to like getting people at the hospital.
Yeah, because they were definitely doing some retcon. They would definitely have they kind of gave themselves an out because they were like, well, we don't really know, because they didn't say it in the show. They were like, well, we don't really know, just in case they can walk it back later, because Rhodey being a Skrull since Civil War literally ruins like some of the best scenes in the MCU.
Do you know how they could have saved Secret Invasion if that
by burning it into the ground? If
that last scene where Rhodey comes out in his gown and everything, he looks up and it's Terrence Howard. That's how they saved the whole thing.
They should have thought of that, but
we would have all forgiven the whole thing, and just to see Terrence Howard there. And it would be funny. So,
well, that means they had the worst Skrull imposter ever, because it's like did you see who you were imitating, sir?
Right, but that would be the first time in the history of some kind of a flub in the MCU that we all just said, whatever.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's fine.
What was I gonna say?
Also a fair question. How did they survive the radiation? Plot.
Yeah,
the writers didn't think of it.
I just finished The Witcher season 3 because they had a few new episodes come out. First of all,
you're one of the few.
Listen, yeah, I'm sure, but here's the thing: season 2 and 3 were actually really good. Season 1 was a little bit of a mess, but I'm devastated that we're losing Henry Cavill.
You said season. Did you get that backwards? You said season 1 wasn't it? Season 2 was good.
I like season 2. Yeah, season 1 was a mess because there was all that time jumping.
But you like season 2?
Yeah, I like season 2. It's good.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning?
What's wrong with season?
Ugh, I thought season 1 definitely had its issues with the linear storytelling because they wanted to force certain characters in, but I thought season 2 was pretty much unwatchable.
Oh, I've watched it a few times through. I listen, and maybe it's just because I would rather save Henry Cavill as Geralt than I would Superman. Like, he was that good. Like, and he is the best part of the show.
Yeah, unfortunately, given what I heard happen behind the scenes, I'm perfectly happy that he's leaving the show because it sounded like an absolute disaster, and I'm surprised he didn't leave before.
I think he loves the character that much.
Yeah, that has to be because he very, very clearly loves the source material. He loves the character. He read the books. He played all the games. He was really passionate about it. But unfortunately, Netflix hired people who don't care about the source material at all. Reportedly, there were writers that were actually making fun of the source material, didn't like it, and were in a hurry to change it and do basically whatever the hell they want and throw Henry Cavill to the side to the point where he was actually asking people for more lines because he was in so few of the Witcher show.
Yeah.
when he's literally the Witcher.
A lot of the changes they probably made were probably race swapping and stuff. Like Frangilla is not black in the game, and I never even actually. This is one of the very few scenarios that I didn't even care, because I get it. It
wasn't even a race swapping. It was the fact that they wanted to basically build the entire Witcher show around Ciri and Yennefer, and they would literally just alter and change the source material to bend the whole thing around it and push Geralt to the side.
Yeah, that I didn't hear about that, but I can see Ciri a little bit. But I mean,
Yeah, I bailed out halfway through season 2. I was like, yeah, I'm.
I really
so
enjoyed it.
I was so bored.
I really want to go back and finish 3. I played 2. There's 2 ways to play 2. You can each chapter you can go one direction. So I beat it on both sides. I did both versions of the game for 2, and then 3 got pretty far in. Something else came out, and I just forgot to go back. When I tried to go back, I just completely forgot how to play. And when the update came for PS5, I started the game over on PS5, and I was trying to get far enough to remember how to play, and then I was gonna go back to my Xbox save, but I never did. So beating The Witcher 3 is one of the biggest regrets I have. It's probably my number 1 game that I didn't beat that I really wish I did.
I was thinking about getting into the actual games because I saw the potential of season 1 if they tightened up the storytelling, but obviously that didn't happen. But the anime was actually really good. That's the one thing Netflix doesn't seem to screw up. they ruined The Witcher live action. They tend to ruin all of their live action anime adaptations, but their actual animes are pretty good.
The Witcher 1 is kind of like a top-down view, asymmetric a little bit. So it's a little, and I think it's only on PC. So that one's a little tough, but The Witcher 2, it does give you a really good intro, so that you can understand everything that went on before it, because they understand for a lot of people that's going to be their first Witcher game. And that one is much more linear. It's kind of like Gears of War-ish, where you have a path you have to follow. It is a little open and you can go different places, but you're gonna pretty much go along the certain path. And then The Witcher 3 is Skyrim on crack. It's just massive, and you can go too far and end up with enemies you can't kill, which is the first thing that I did.
Of course.
I happen to do that in like a lot of open world games. I just try to open up the map just to make it easier to go from place to place. But then sometimes I find myself in places I really shouldn't be, and then it's a struggle to get out of there. So,
I'm guessing this is a preview of what you're going to be doing in Starfield.
probably, which is soon.
Yeah, so
They-
and plus they're giving 5-day early access.
I'm sure I'll have more access than that.
Oh, I mean, of course, you're Jayshockblast. I'm surprised you don't have it right now.
I don't. I wish I did. I did get an email about something they wanted to send me something, and I don't know. It's not the game necessarily, but so I'm waiting to see what happens there. I don't want to go too far into that. I mean, I know what the something is, but I don't know if I'm really supposed to like acknowledge that.
We know it's a duffel bag full of money, Jay.
Hopefully.
we get it.
Hopefully, Lord knows I need it.
Don't like that accent, but we'll move.
I'm from the South, please, sir.
Yeah. You sounded like it. The plantation South. Did not like that one. Please stick to your Boston accent, sir.
I don't even have a Boston accent.
Get one.
Anyway,
so we got another casting update. These are more on the rumor side. So it seems like every month there's a fresh batch of Fantastic Four casting rumors, because I feel like this movie is never coming out at this point, because they were dragging their feet for this one even before all the striking happened. But we now have a fresh batch of Fantastic Four rumors. There's so far we just heard that apparently Sue Storm is going to be the lead of the film. And the narrative is built around her. Apparently Galactus might be the main villain. Maybe Doctor Doom will make an appearance.
hey, speaking of Stephen Amell,
You have failed the city. I've not actually watched that show Heels,
I haven't either.
but I'm sure it's good. I should watch it because I do support Stephen Amell. So we heard that Vanessa Kirby was rumored to be Sue Storm. That's the latest in the cast rumors. Joseph Quinn was said to be Johnny Storm, but he recently debunked that rumor. So we know that part is definitely not true. But what do you think of them tackling Galactus for the debut of the Fantastic Four, and of Sue Storm being like the focal point of the narrative?
I'm really hoping that Galactus is a giant smoke cloud that comes from space.
as he should be.
The truest form that we know. We're most familiar with that. So I really hope they, stick with his roots. But honestly, I just don't have any real expectations or hope for this franchise. For whatever reason, it just feels like they can't get it right. Some of the rumors do sound interesting, like them starting off in the 60s and I guess being time displaced, which is why they end up in the present. I guess that sounds like an interesting direction to take things, but I don't know. I just don't trust Marvel Disney's vision for this engine that is the MCU at this point. Like, I don't know where we're driving this thing, but we got off the road a long time ago. It doesn't seem like we know how to get back.
I mean, when they've lost Casual, they've gone too far. But
we got Infinity War and Endgame. I was good. Anything after that is just
But I'm sure Jay is more optimistic of the Fantastic Four movie.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fine. But Galactus doesn't interest me. We've already seen something like that with the Eternals. We've already seen like the world breaking, like huge.
They still have not directly addressed that selection.
Yeah, the people of the MCU really do not care that there's a giant man sticking out of the ground.
Yeah. So like, I'm not really interested in Galactus. I think Galactus is kind of boring. Thor already murdered him single-handedly in the comics, so it's like whatever. Like, there's so many different villains they could do for the Fantastic Four. Like, I don't know, Doom, who I think would make a far more interesting MCU. Like, I mean, obviously they're doing Kang, and I know we're gonna get into that, but for this part of this phase, if you will. So I'm assuming starting with the Fantastic Four in the 60s, they're going to fast forward into modern day because they get stuck in the Shadow Realm or something. I don't know. And I don't know. I Galactus doesn't do anything for me.
I mean, they did Doctor Doom last time in Fan Four Stick, and that didn't work well.
Well, yeah, I mean, do it right is obviously what I would like them to do, you know. Just Doom is like Doom literally straight murdered Thanos, you know. There is God Emperor Doom. Like, Doom is, to me, should be the #1 villain of Marvel.
He should be, but
yeah,
you know, it's Marvel, so
yeah. So like they really should be able to like find somebody to do Doom and just murder it, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. I actually feel like Jonathan Majors would make a fantastic Doom, and I say that not being the like type that loves race bending characters.
he hates diversity.
No, it's not about diversity. It's about like, I just don't like. I wouldn't like it if they took a white person and made them, you know, Luke Cage. You know, like, however you do it. Like, the characters are who they are, and there's a lot of great characters to focus on. But like, Doom is mostly in a mask anyway. But I would think Jonathan Majors, like, I just love him as an actor. I would watch him in like Grease remake, you know. I would watch him in Mamma Mia 5, you know.
What was the name of the villain from Guardians 3? I always forget his name.
The High Evolution.
The High Evolution. I honestly felt like he gave a better performance. I was more impressed with his performance than what we saw from Jonathan Majors at this point.
Yeah, Chukwuji. To be fair, Chukwuji, they're both obviously great actors, but Chukwuji had James Gunn's writing to work with it.
I'm just looking at what they're trying to do with Kang.
He had whatever the fuck happened with Ant-Man 3 to work with.
That's true. That's a major part of it, because I don't know. It just I don't know what they're exactly going for with Kang, and you know, a lot of people are enjoying what they're seeing from Jonathan Majors' performance as Kang. It hasn't grabbed me yet. So it's like I'm willing to see where we go with it. Thankfully, you know, his off-screen issues are starting to look like they're getting resolved and everything. So it's like, you know, he'll get the chance to, you know, maybe grab us in season 2 of Loki or something. But so far,
we actually do have an update on our Jayshockblast's boy.
Some people are gonna have to make sure their apologies are as loud as their accusations.
Well, you know, pump the brakes, but yeah. So I saw the post that Jay shared on Twitter. I did some digging before. I ended up finding a pretty good summary of the case so far.
He just saw Megan Good mentioned and wanted to see if there are any new pictures.
I mean, I can always find pictures of Megan Good. I have no issue with that. I have a hard drive just for that. but I noticed that a lot of the other articles kind of glossed over some of the important details in order to make it seem like this case is a lot more one-sided against Majors than it actually is. Like, they left out a lot of important details, but I found out Daily Mail did a pretty good summary. But in terms of, I saw this circulating. Jay shared it, that they said his ex-girlfriend fled the country. I have not seen any validity to those claims, but
I think she's a native of the UK, and that's just where she is.
Yeah.
So it's I read that after, and I was like, all right, so she fled, as in went home, but they tell
Yeah.
you not to leave.
Yeah, but they're saying the reason why the trial, so the trial was delayed until it's going to be until September. Apparently the prosecution was just not ready for some reason, which I mean seems like an issue to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you show up to court. You're supposed to show up to court prepared, but his Majors' team reportedly have filed a motion complaining that the prosecution were not timely in handing over evidence. Which, I mean, when I'm looking at the evidence, when you look at it, I'm not sure how this case hasn't been thrown out. To be honest,
Yeah.
so far, obviously he was initially charged with misdemeanor assault and harassment for allegedly attacking Jabari. She told police initially that she was hit and strangled, but the strangulation charges were dropped, and now he's currently apparently being charged with just hurting her arm. There we did get some new Megan Good pictures. Yes, Lord. lucky man. That's Grace Jabari. But we also have text messages from Jabari telling Majors that she was the aggressor. It was her fault. So, you know, even ignoring that, we have the reports that came from the NYPD sources that were cited by New York Times that say there's actually enough evidence to charge Jabari with assaulting Jonathan Majors. And even though she was allegedly, seriously injured by him and specifically her arm, she was seen later that night at a nightclub drinking and partying and using that arm that allegedly got hurt without any problems. And there you see the surveillance footage of that. So I'm really struggling to see how this case is still going on, because I mean, he was charged with assault and, causing all this damage, but all the witnesses, all the surveillance footage, even her own text messages seem to prove otherwise. And the only thing they're charging is the injuring her arm, but we have surveillance footage that shows that he didn't do that either. So, and now they're not turning in evidence. They're asking for more time. It's like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on with this case? I don't understand why this is still a thing. Like, if the whole fleeing the country thing was true, that'd be something. But even without all that, I'm struggling to understand how this case hasn't been thrown out yet. What are we missing here?
I don't know. Everything that I have read has made it seem like it is much to do about nothing. It was a disagreement. I think what happened is a lot of people that were a little jealous of Majors from his past chimed in on social media as well, accusing him of lots of basically, I don't know, gaslighting a little bit, like really just like mental manipulation, and like it's just basically making it seem like he's like a very manipulative person. And
like a Hollywood actor.
yeah,
What Hollywood actors can be narcissistic assholes. So, and
it honestly, that's what I got from it, was that it was sour grapes.
Like, what?
All these people were like, oh, nobody ever says his name, but we all knew about this for years. Back when he was in school, he was manipulative and conniving, and it's like, this sounds like some serious sour grapes.
I was about to say, with the mental manipulation stuff, it sounds like he should have went for Professor X instead of Kang the Conqueror. Honestly, like this, I haven't followed this story very closely. I feel like he did the right thing by kind of going silent. I know they started pushing, like his team started putting out the text messages and stuff, and that didn't really have the effect they were hoping for, and
It did not.
just trying different things. But it's honestly like we just saw this happen again with Jonah Hill, with his interactions with his, I guess, ex-girlfriend, and he set out.
That situation is weird too, because that definitely sparked that's actually sparked a debate that shows like the very big difference between how like this social media TikTok era has kind of destroyed people's brains when it comes to just relationships, and how there's like this massive divide now. Because I mean, she basically waited until he announced he was having a baby with the girl that he moved on from her with to resurface this stuff, and it just, and they made it try to make it sound much worse than it actually was. I mean, it just sounded like he had an issue with he had some boundary issues in their relationship. He probably was jealous or didn't like certain sexy pictures she was posting, and just to express how he felt about it, and said if you don't like, if that's a problem for you, no hard feelings, we can go our separate ways, but this is how I feel, and this is what I want for a relationship. And they somehow turned that into him being this abusive monster. I'm like, if that's the level of we're calling abuse now, then relationships are cooked in 2023.
Yeah. Like I brought that up. My fault, Jay. I just brought it up to point out how someone makes an accusation, no matter how flimsy it can be, and then all of a sudden we just have like, oh yeah, I wanted to say something too. Thank you for saying something. Now it gives me a chance to say something, and it's like, no matter what it is, Kevin Feige stole my ice cream 12 years ago. Yeah, he took my shoe 2 years before that. And it's like, well, brother, if you got to be, some of this stuff we can come forward with, without, doing the whole pal on thing. And it's like, no matter what the accusation is, it just seems like there's a ton of people, like at least 6 other people on the side waiting to do the pal on, just waiting on somebody to say anything so that we can all jump on this. And it's like this is why I don't really get invested in this stuff. I don't follow the storylines and stuff. It's the internet. I'll come across, the final verdict, whether I want to or not. I know all of this stuff against my will at this point. I didn't ask for any of this, but
my perspective on this was also altered by the fact that I am a public figure now. So I have been able to see firsthand just how people are when it comes to public figures, and they do just people. There are people who are just like obsessed and will just literally just make shit up just for attention, for clout, just out of spite. Yeah, people are really weird when it comes, and you don't really know. You notice it a little bit on the outside, but when you're actually in it, you really see firsthand just how just bizarre people are. So I would definitely believe that I mean, when I heard the allegations from the people from the acting schools, I mean, it sounded like Cap from the beginning, but just from my perspective now, I'm just like, this is a little sus. So my policy in general was just kind of wait for the evidence to see what comes about it, because we've seen too many times now in the social media age where someone runs with something and it turns out to just be a complete hoax. Or
like, innocent until proven guilty, with anything. I just honestly don't. It doesn't really affect me. So,
but that's the thing. It very easily could. Like, you think that this could never happen to you, and then like, I don't know. This weekend has been weird. There's this guy K-Wing. He's a longtime YouTuber.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, people have been going after him this weekend, and I don't know him super well, but I've met him before. I've met his wife before, and there's a lot of people like, I just don't understand why they're doing it, but also I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I do not want to get involved because these people are crazy. But like, I don't know, man. I met both of them in New York once at a little mini event.
I've never heard of K-Wing.
K-Wing. He does K-Wing Let's Play. He has lots of subscribers. He was a big Batman guy.
What's the controversy?
He like 2 months ago, Miller even like was involved with it today. Like 2 months ago, he tweeted something about what is a woman.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and that's
that documentary.
Yeah, and like that's where you go wrong the first place.
Yeah,
like,
never jumped into. So he jumped into the culture war. Okay.
Yeah, there is no point. But he's always.
Why would he jump right into the Batwash shit?
Yeah,
like come on, bro.
He's always tweeted about stuff like that. And again, I don't know him super well or anything, but like I did meet him and his wife in New York at a little Lego recording session I did, and they were both super nice. So like that's the way that I judge people. It's been really weird seeing them go after him for a tweet from 2 months ago.
Oh, that's the internet. I mean, like I said, we just saw all of that play out with the Hogwarts Legacy game. You know, you bought that game, you're a bigot, you're a piece of shit, and all of that good stuff that comes with it. And this is just people who were excited for a game they were hoping for years.
Yep.
But that's how the internet works. And I understand. I don't blame people who feel like they should be able to voice certain stances online. So you want to take a strong political stance, or hey, I don't believe in this, or I don't agree with that, and I want to share that. I want to put that out publicly. You can do that, obviously, but this kind of stuff is the back end of that, and it's unfortunate and it's crazy, but I feel like we've had more than enough examples of it going this way at this point.
Yeah, my point in bringing that up is like you never think it could happen to you, and then like, I mean, he's
his channel has fallen off. Holy.
Yeah, and he has lots of things to say about that I don't believe, but still, like he was very successful. He does still do pretty well, but like still that could be any of us, like you don't think it can, but all it takes is like one person to get the right traction, because the internet is just a place of let's throw stones, and
can't Jayshockblast has come very close to cancellation multiple times already.
And it's sad to say, like there was that one time that I thought somebody actually found it, that one time that I used the hard R, not that one.
I know what you're talking about.
You need to be very specific.
Yes, the R word with a hard. Well, the R word.
You can just say the R word. Sir.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning?
I did because I'm trying to very improperly. So
yeah, we got you.
Here's a subject. My wife just texted me and said Casual's a White Sox fan.
Chicago, South Side. Well, I'm really from the West Side. I just don't rock with the Cubs. So
yeah. You be careful about that, about that too, Casual, because you got gangs over there. Careful where you careful how you repping.
Trust me, I know how to move around Chicago. I don't live there anymore, but hey,
they'll play over there. So Warzone over there.
I mean, there's a bunch of bad kids running around doing whatever.
Don't have to worry about anything downtown, do I?
5 years ago, I would have said that. Maybe 10 years ago, I would have said no, absolutely not. Nowadays, it's like I don't know what the hell is going on with these kids running around. But I was downtown not too long ago. I didn't have any problems. You can still if you see a bunch of kids, go the opposite direction. I'll just say that. Because they were just kind of.
You never know what's going to happen.
We know what's going to happen. So that's why he's telling you to walk the other way.
A bunch of jumping on cars and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't really frequent Chicago like that, like at all. But if I feel like going to the art museum or something like that, or I went down there for a cruise recently, so it's like
it's gotten so bad that Casual now has his deep dish delivered. Instead of going in there in person.
It's nowhere near as bad as media will make you believe, but I feel like with anywhere you go nowadays, you just kind of keep your head on the
I
swivel.
I feel like it is, but you just gotta. It depends on where you are.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like downtown isn't like a war zone, or there's not tourists being dragged from. It's not the Dark Knight Rises going on. Bane hasn't taken over Chicago yet. But it's just be mindful if you see people looking like they're up to no good. Hey, let's go this way. Let's get back in the Uber.
I'm just trying to go to a Cubs game, but I don't want to get too specific. We'll talk about that after.
No, you good. But yeah, it's not. I don't want to have people in fear of visiting Chicago. There's still a lot of people who come visit. It's just
the last time I was there was right, like literally the week COVID started shutting everything down. And I had like nothing to do. So I was walking around the downtown area like no problem. I mean, it was like 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I was like I went to like this weird little mall that was like oh god. There's just like this kind of mall.
Water tower.
Maybe there's a Harry Carey restaurant in it, and there's a big Lego store.
Yeah, that's the water tower.
Oh, there was like a little museum in there of some famous child author.
Jay always finds his way to a Lego store.
Wasn't even trying.
Lego's just fine.
They got the American Girl store there and all of that.
Oh, well, now we know why Casual goes. has little tea parties with his favorite princess.
No, I was just there earlier this year, I want to say. That's why I say, like, if I feel like driving, I'll go downtown for something, or I ride through downtown. But
American Girl's surprisingly popular. I used to work at a Borders bookstore. I was managing the kids section, so always had to set up displays for the American Girl stuff.
Yeah, like I said, it's I don't know. It's my perception of Chicago is going to be vastly different than somebody who doesn't live here and only knows what they see on YouTube or the news
or hear it in rap videos.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I am very oblivious to a lot of that type of stuff. Like, when I was living in Jacksonville, Florida, I worked on the west side in an apartment complex that I mean, I would say 90% of the population was black, and like that neighborhood in general, it was like, but like I didn't think anything of it. I just treated everybody like people, and like there was a time or two where like a resident pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure you don't understand, but I think you need to be a little bit more careful." Because like I just was friendly with everybody. I don't know, like, but like I don't think of it like that. Like
you wore the wrong colors.
I don't know. I don't know what like I grew up on a military base, so like my neighbor to my left was Native American, to my right was black. Like we were in
He's trying really hard not to say he doesn't see color.
No, but like but like think about it though. Like Marines are very disciplined. Mm-hmm. And they're very like team focused, mm-hmm. And like all the people around me that I played with were like from all parts of the country, from all nationalities. So like I didn't really think of it like that.
Yeah, he doesn't hold his purse tighter when a black guy walks by because he's like, they're just a guy.
I really don't usually think anything of it, So that, but like I don't know,
keeps his purse loose.
Yes,
it's like I wouldn't advocate for profiling, but I mean,
I would definitely advocate for profiling.
If I see an alligator, I'm not going to be like, well, it could be a bunny. Yeah, it's alligator.
I don't know. I just try to assume the best out of people. Yeah, and it's becoming harder and harder to do that.
When you're black, you have a pass to profile because you know better. You don't have any guilt. You don't have any of that nonsense. You just know. Okay, I see. I know what I can just look at a glance and see who's up to no good and who's not.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's like I just kind of got like a sixth sense for it. So if I'm downtown, again, I'm vibing, I'm walking around doing whatever I came to do. But at the same time, if I see a group of individuals, I don't care what race you're from, I can get a vibe for what you're on, and I could, I'll move accordingly. But yeah, if you frequenting like the hood areas, you don't want to be Mr. Rogers around that. You might want to dial that back a little bit because people are up to no good and they are looking to take advantage of people who could be a little more friendly and non-judgmental. That's an end for them, and it's I get it.
I'll just start sharing my Wu-Tang knowledge.
Just put on your do-rag you got from Sadot and tell them you.
No, I think that's asking for me to get my ass beat.
Yeah. Casual.
I don't
about to set you up there.
I don't think I'm going to get the benefit of the doubt on that one.
No. You can't get away. You can't get away with that unless you're actually from there. I knew this guy when I was in school named Tom. And he was very much a white guy, but we basically made him an honorary black guy because he was from the neighborhood. He had all the swagger. He was basically so ingrained in the culture that we just gave him a pass. So he's like, you're fine. He could wear a do-rag and no one would bat an eye. Like because he's ingrained. He is so ingrained in the culture. Jay is clearly a visitor, so it would not go
not according to that lawyer from Kansas that was like the Avengers' biggest fanboy. He said I'm an honorary black boy.
He's not. Do not listen to.
It's like,
let me just make sure it's clear. Honorary black boy. These are quotation fingers.
Yeah, of course.
I remember what you're talking about now. I'm like, what? What's going on?
For Media Matters or anyone else listening, ready to cancel Jay.
I was just about to say it's crazy because I don't blame people for having like a negative perception of a city you don't live in and that you only know what you hear of. Like Boston has a reputation of being very racist. I've never stepped foot in Boston, so I don't know. I can't say that for sure, and that's not really my perception. I just don't know. You get what I'm saying? But that is
I have two stories for that. Okay, so number one, I have no idea from my experience of being in Boston where that comes from, because I get whatever. I'm white. I don't experience it the way everybody else does. But that shocks me when people say that, okay? Because when I lived in Jacksonville, I understood why there was the tension, if you know what I mean. Like you could see it, and from both sides. But up here, I don't get it because I don't feel like it's like that, and if anything, I feel like it's like Puerto Ricans fighting with black people or stuff. I don't know, but I will say I didn't really understand that it was a thing until I moved here, because in sixth grade, I always remember recess, the first day of sixth grade. When my first day that I moved up here, everybody knew each other because they had been in school together for years. And we used to play this game called Suicide. And I don't know if they have that where you are, but basically you have a tennis ball and you throw it against the wall.
Oh, that's off the wall. We play that.
Everybody has different names, right? And you're supposed to catch it. And if you bobble it, you have to run and touch the wall before somebody pegs you. Okay. I had a great arm back with the ball.
I was about to say I didn't play that version, Jay. I didn't play that one.
So I had a good arm. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the story. God damn it! This was the most unintentionally hilarious moment I think ever.
Oh man,
it was worth it. I did walk into it. Okay.
If Sadot kept a straight face, I wouldn't have laughed. I would have been all right.
I should be aware that any opportunity to give it to me, Sadot's gonna. So
No, I'm not. Wait, whoa, pause.
Case in
Oh man. Oh man.
case in point. So anyway,
Bro.
I remember the kid, Jeffrey Coy. He was like he looked like he looked like he was supposed to be in 8th grade, okay? And just this big, tall, strong black kid. And he intentionally dropped the ball in front of me, I think to see what I would do. And I was like ignorant to it all. And I picked that ball up and threw it at as hard as I could and hit him square in the back. And everybody was like, ooh. And that was the point where that was the point where like everybody had to explain the situation to me. And like, he didn't do anything. He actually was super cool and we were friends, but like, I think he actually respected the move. But like, yeah, I guess nobody else would have done that.
You just avoided an ass beating. I'm barely following the story.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. But the story was worth it. But
that's what I said. Like I remember the game we used to play. Like
that's
grew
definitely
up in diverse surroundings. So
that's definitely getting turned into a short, right?
Yeah, listen, it was hilarious. And it's worth it. Like
it's worth it.
It's worth it. And I love it how like quickly I picked up on it with the ball.
As soon as he said pig, I looked at Sadot.
Man,
Jay's been caught by enough. Jay's probably should know the deal, but he's been featured in a number of shorts already on the channel.
I think the entire point of this podcast is for Sadot to try to like set me up for the okie doke and just make shorts that make fun of me.
I get that content.
Yeah,
he has the gun, but you're giving him the bullets.
You know what I mean?
He's loading and pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Man.
Anything for views.
Well, yeah, it's like I just don't have I wait until I get there. So like Philly is pretty much Chicago for me based on media. I don't know Philly like that. I know Rocky, I know Beanie Sigel, I know Sadot, and Philly cheesesteaks.
Damn right.
But it's like, what if I take a flight to Philly? It's whatever. I just came to check it out. So like my perception of California before I actually went there, it comes from movies and media. I'm expecting to see a lot of like urban areas, a lot of homeless people. I looked for it. I didn't find it. Like I was all over Cali, and I loved everything I saw. And it's like, okay, well, don't judge it until you get there.
Right.
But with Chicago, bear with caution. So approach with caution.
I'll say as a Philly native, I will say, watch which neighborhood you walk down.
What kind of clipping?
It's going to grow the channel, Jay. Just
I like I said, I'll lean into it. It's kind of funny. 4 years ago today, I was actually in California. We were in San Francisco, went to a Giants game, my favorite ballpark I've been to, found no poop on any sidewalks. Yeah, Cali's cool.
Yeah, Cali is one.
I've never been.
That's the only place I've ever been where I consider like I would live here. Like I've been to a lot of cities. Cali is the only place
I feel that way
me.
Yeah, I feel like that every time I go there. I just picture myself living there, and then I realize that you'd have to make $200,000 a year just to afford a like studio apartment. So, but the different like San Francisco is way different than LA.
As far as riders are striking, they make on average like I read something like 250K a year or something like that.
No, some of them are like. They're worried about making enough money to qualify for like health insurance. And in order to do that, you have to make $26K. Like they aren't even making that much. Some of them.
Some of them for sure. But the overall, obviously some of the people are driving up that average, but the average from what I read actually is $250,000. but the issue is that $250,000 has to sustain them through droughts as well, and because they're not getting like the same deals that you used to get, whereas like, oh, you're going to be a writer on a show. That's 22 episodes a season, 8 seasons, and then you're getting network residuals because of the streaming. Boom! Now it's like you're getting everything's way less, and you're getting more. And you're getting a lot less in residuals.
Hold on, how do I present?
What
You're gonna appreciate this.
What did you do?
Share screen. Where is my X?
Oh, you actually did it. On my way to Cracker Barrel to celebrate.
Look at his shirt.
The
Is
fight
that
from the day,
Does he already? How do you already have that?
bro.
Because he's got a Boston hat.
Where did that take place? Where did that fight take place?
There's like Mississippi.
I didn't check.
King TDB retweeted that. Here, I'll share it. There's already a link to the shirt.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
need
God.
that.
You gotta get the merch.
I might need that. I respect the hustle. I might need to make my own. Might need to make my own merch.
First comment has the. Oh, it's a different angle of the T-shirt, but anyway, I shared the tweet in the group chat.
That's lit.
I saw it and I just like that whole thing is insane. And you know what the crazy part is? Like nobody really, I guess, owns that. So like, who's gonna stop you from making that shirt? You know what I mean?
Look, you can't. Yeah, there's no copyright there.
Yeah.
That's just free money. That's just free money right there. That's just good, Mark. Like this, that man works fast. He got it printed and everything.
Yeah.
Hey, opportunity comes fast.
I respect it. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice distraction, I guess, from the Kai Cenat riot that happened in New York.
Those people are stupid.
I mean, it's New York. Who we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
You have the biggest streamer in the world go to New York City and announce a giveaway, which with his mostly teenage fan base. I mean,
I think we're getting closer to our first real life appearance of Batman because somebody has to get this stuff under control, bro. Batman is going to be on top of a building somewhere very soon.
I don't know, I don't know all the details of this story. All right, so I'm probably gonna speak a little ignorantly, and I'm probably
I can tell you all the details.
Okay,
beforehand.
Let me just say this though, I don't think he expected that many people to show up.
He did.
He did.
He okay. He is. When I say he's the biggest streamer, he is insane.
I get that, but I've seen like the Paul brothers do something like this in California, and a lot of people showed up, but it wasn't like shut down New York City a lot, you know.
It's New York City. He went to one of the busiest parts of New York City. He's actually much bigger than the Paul brothers, actually. But this is a guy who casually streams and has like 80,000 concurrent viewers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with him. I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he didn't think that many people would show up. But if he expected that many people to show up and still did it, then I don't necessarily have a problem with them kind of holding him a little responsible.
Yeah, to a degree. I don't know how much they can chart. I guess it would depend if he got the permits. Like they can get him with that way, because he technically didn't incite anything. Like he didn't say, oh, go crazy, do this stuff. But it was pretty irresponsible to go to that part of New York and just think you're just going to go outside and do a PS5 and PC giveaway to a bunch of teenagers and not expect it to get crazy. Like if you're someone of his size, you rent out like an actual building. Like you go to like an actual arena, even like you
Right.
have an actual event indoors. You don't and do that stuff. He could have easily done that, and they wouldn't have had this issue more than likely. The fact that he tried to do this outside is horribly irresponsible.
Yeah, but it also goes to show you like just how quickly life catches up to you. Like you get all this fame like out of nowhere, and you're not prepared for it, and you don't know how to handle it, and you don't know how to like legally go through these processes.
I mean, he after his last run-in with the law, I thought he would be a lot more cautious.
Yeah, I don't know what his last. Like I said, I know who he is. I don't like follow him a lot, but
they had a party. I think it was a New Year's party, and a woman that he knew who was a model. She went there, and apparently she had a little too much to drink, and she was told to go upstairs. Everything will be cool. Stay in the spare bedroom.
I remember this.
And then allegedly one of his friends assaulted her while she was sleeping, and it became a whole thing.
Okay, I remember this now. Yeah.
Almost derailed him. So he's no stranger to dealing with large life altering consequences and run-ins with the authorities. So I thought he would be a little more responsible, especially with all the stuff that's been going on in New York and how crazy it's been. And I mean, NYPD clearly didn't help matters. I saw, the video going around of them slamming this innocent kid's face through a windshield.
I saw that too, and I think that the fist actually went through the windshield, but I think it wasn't good either way. So
yeah, I mean, his face clearly still went into the window.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, I would not want to be them in that situation, but they put themselves in a situation where they're gonna have to respond to stuff like that, and
I feel like you can respond by not throwing innocent people's faces through windows.
Yeah,
I'm no police officer. I'm not trained.
I feel you.
But I feel like grabbing an innocent teenager and throwing their face through a window is probably not police procedure. Maybe in new NYPD because we know they've been wilding for years. But in terms of standard police work,
I'll say this:
frowned upon.
Limp Bizkit did something like this in Boston back like I would just graduated from high school, so like 99, maybe 2000. Their new album was coming out, the one that had Nookie on it. And they did it in Detroit and got away with it. But in Boston, they called into the local radio station, like, we're doing a surprise concert today at an unknown location. When we get closer to the time, we're going to tell you with hints where it is. And everybody has to go there. And we're going to play until we get shut down. And somebody like found out where they were. They were at a parking garage, on the roof of a parking garage across the street from Fenway Park. And like, I kid you not, like 30,000 people showed up. Like, it was insane. They only made it through 2 songs, and the Boston police showed up and like shut it down. They had like escape routes planned and everything. They didn't have any permits whatsoever to do any of it. No, they had a permit, but it was like
probably not for 30,000 people,
for the least amount they could possibly do. And like, they snuck out a back door, like all sorts of stuff. It was documented on MTV back when they used to actually, like, Kurt Loder.
Imagine actually going to see Limp Bizkit live at a surprise concert.
Well, back then, like, it was still kind of cool, like, I remember that, like, it was, I would have gone, but I was like an hour from Boston.
I feel like even back then, Fred Durst was corny.
I don't know. I feel like that album was like their big breakout, and they just became, they were like, it was them and Korn that were like the only like rock bands that were on, TRL every day.
They were. Oh, no doubt the songs are popping, but I always looked at Fred Durst like,
yeah. And then people like kind of like, I don't know, woke up to it. So, but in any event, like, I've seen them do that. Like, that was a thing that happened back then. And, I don't think anybody was like out there breaking things though, which
No, no, they were not. In fact, breaking things, getting sturdy on top of cars, beating up hot dog vendors,
Yeah, like,
and robbing them.
Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure when Jayshockblast has his surprise meet and greet in New York, it'll be a lot less chill.
Yeah.
A lot more chill.
Yeah. All's one person that shows up, me, will be super like laid back and lazy.
I'm sure all your Fortnite buddies will be there.
Yeah.
You play some Pokemon Go, wherever you kids do.
I am going to be doing that in New York City in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today.
Nerd.
Pokemon Go Fest, New York City, August 20th. My brother and I are going to get up at like 3 a.m. We're going to drive down, do the thing for a few hours at their big event, and then come home.
Sounds so exciting. I can't.
I don't know, man. Like, it looks like it's going to be fun. This weekend they did it in Osaka, Japan, and in London. And I've been watching some of the content creators, and I don't know, it just looks fun, And I met one of the big Pokemon Go creators in LA. Who's like literally the only Pokemon Go creator I follow. And when I was talking to the Niantic people, like, he just happened to walk up while we're there. I'm like, "Oh, you're the trainer club. I follow you." And we talked a little bit, and I gave him his card.
You should do a second channel that's just Pokemon.
Pokemon doesn't do well for me. I don't know what it is. I try and I try. I make Pokemon content for my own love of it.
Yeah, new channel. I'm telling you.
I don't like new channels. I don't believe that should be a thing. This is me being an old man in the face of technology. I hate and reject the concept that I should have to like start an entirely new channel. I just think it's so stupid.
All technology is not bad, Jay. You have to embrace it. You have to try something different. And I'm sure the WGA, of course, have some issues with technology.
Yeah.
Specifically AI, because they recently good news and mostly bad news, but both sides actually did have a meeting. Good news, but bad news, nothing happened because studios basically said they weren't ready to talk about really much of anything. They said they were willing to talk a little bit about AI and talk a little bit about the minimum writer room demands, but not much else. So this strike is going to be going on for a while. Honestly, I don't think this is going to go away. I think the actors will get resolved, but the writer's strike, I think they're either going to get just starved out and just cave into a really bad deal, or the studios are going to do something dramatic, because it feels like the writers really don't have any leverage here at all, and now their side is budging. Even the minimum writer room requirement, I feel like that's something that they could definitely have negotiated 10 years ago, but I'm having a hard time believing that they're going to be able to convince these studios now in this current climate, with not just because of AI, but because of all these failures when it comes to shows and movies. Like, you're going to basically tell them, well, if you're going to hire us to write on a project, you have to hire a minimum amount of writers, even if you don't need them, even if they're not good or useful. You have to have a minimum. Like that seems like crazy to me. Like that's one of their big demands, and I don't see the studios caving on that.
You know what I just realized? We're going up against Doomkiller right now.
Are we?
Yeah, because he does the wrap up.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a Sunday. We're usually on Friday, so we don't invade on each other's turf.
Right. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it looks like they wrapped up They
Oh,
went
okay.
about an hour and a half.
I feel bad now.
Yeah, I definitely need we definitely need an old man thing for Jay. I gotta figure something out. Either emoji or some kind of sound. I'll do. I gotta add. I've been meaning to add more to the soundboard anyway.
Man.
I definitely need something. We'll figure something out, Steezy. I got you for the next episode.
Remember when Casual Avenger was like 57 years old?
Good times.
But he's been out, and that meme is now kind of dried up because Jay has just stepped right in and filled that void.
Hey, I went with it as long as it was out there, so I knew.
He did. For spoiler alert, Casual Avenger is not actually an old man. Well, he is old, but not like you think.
Not like you.
He's not Jay old.
Yeah, like he's like 5 years younger than me. Like you.
More like 20. Feels like 20.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Nah.
I'm young. I'm young at heart.
Aren't we all?
Jay's definitely not. He's definitely old as hell.
Only one of us has toys all over our desk.
You don't see my desk. You don't know what's on my desk.
I you know what? I don't want to know.
I guarantee as many toys as you have, Jay. I guarantee I have more.
Here's my latest.
I just don't display this. I have whiteout. I have some whiteout from Time Forgotten.
President Loki, one of my latest.
I take that back. Casual might actually be 50. I don't know anyone under the age of 40 that carries whiteout.
Bro, this is not usable. I don't know how long this has been here, but
I can't even find a pen. if I needed one.
There you go.
This has whiteout.
My two latest, Cad Bane.
That's the thing. I don't buy any. Jay buys new toys. I don't buy any. I'm just sitting on my stockpile from when I was a kid.
Wait. Well, I know Jay, you were doing the fan expo this weekend.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see the new TMNT movie, Sadot?
Fuck no. I haven't even seen Barbieheimer.
I'm not vouching for Barbieheimer. I'm pretty sure both of those movies is fine if that was what you were looking for. TMNT wasn't bad. It's not whatever your thoughts on it may be. I feel like it'll probably be a little better than what you are expecting going in. Like it wasn't like just a terrible narrative or hodgepodge of ideas or anything like that. It wasn't that.
I knew just looking at it wasn't something I was going to go see it in theaters or anything like that. But I'm sure I'll just probably just take maybe tomorrow I'll just spend a day hopping on the pirate ship and catch up on Barbieheimer and maybe I'll throw on Turtles.
Can I just say one of the things that like annoys me the most about like the Stephen Amell thing specifically is I saw people that were like throwing shade his way on the Twitter, and I'm like, bitch, you hop on the pirate ship every chance you get. I have seen you complain at Netflix about like, oh, you're taking away shared accounts. You're so bad. You don't have any of your own accounts for these streaming services, and you pirate everything. You do not care about the writers. You don't
Correct.
care about how much money they're making.
Definitely true.
You are the problem. So I'm not talking about you.
Yeah, but they can be self-righteous. I mean, you can't be talking about me. I have a Netflix. I have my own Netflix account.
I know. I'm just clarifying.
I pay them even through their price hikes. I have Disney Plus. I have Netflix. I have Max. I have Crunchyroll. I have High Dive. I have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so like, but I just think it's funny how self-righteous people are when they don't even realize that they're really actually part of the problem. And I think that's the part that drives me the most crazy about the whole
I mean, it's
thing.
more fun to be a part of the outrage than actually get into
I hear
the
that.
actual context of the matter. So
It
it's the
doesn't,
internet.
it doesn't
You know,
matter.
just make noise.
It doesn't matter if they're directly taking money out of the writers and actors' pockets, Jay, as long as they virtue signal on social media about how they support them
Right.
getting more money from the studios.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny to me how that all works, you know?
Yeah, it's like I said, my views on that stuff is mixed because honestly, yes, what studios are doing with trying to pay these writers and actors is you're definitely lowballing and doing some underhanded stuff. And yes, Steezy, this whiteout is very dried out. I don't even think I can open that if I wanted to. Like that's how dried out and hardened it is. But yeah, it's like seeing people get $0 residual checks is crazy. But looking at a lot of the stuff we've seen, people writing for is like you're not actually doing a good job. So it's like I'm not going to fight for the people who wrote She-Hulk to get $250,000 or more. I don't believe you should be paid anything for that because that wasn't something that should have been made.
Well,
So
think about what like Sadot was just saying about the writers for The Witcher. Like they literally are making fun of the source material, and then The Witcher does poorly, it performs poorly, and they're probably the first people that are like, but my residuals.
And
yes.
and they were and one of, I think it was the producer who was recently got in trouble because he basically blamed The Witcher's poor ratings on Americans not being smart enough and having to dump everything down, which was quite a take. But
Yeah.
we heard similar things from the Secret Invasion director. Is like, yeah, this is really kind of the reason why they're not getting the public support this time around, because not even just setting aside the quality of some of the movies and shows that have come out the last several years, is just the fact it's just attacking the fans thing that's also not done them any favors. That's why I'm seeing a lot of people, you have the bubble of people, mostly industry professionals that are siding with them on social media, but you have a lot of regular people who aren't even willing to give them a chance and are just kind of dismissing this whole thing as just greedy people wanting more money. And they're definitely valid complaints for sure on them. I don't think Stephen Amell in his ill-advised attempt to speak on it, I don't think he phrased or articulated the issues very well. Definitely not in a way that wouldn't get him canceled, but just in general, it did sound very intelligent, and I'm sure he has some genuine good insight on this whole thing, but he just didn't express it in that moment or in really the follow-up. So he probably shouldn't have said anything at all. But this is definitely not a black and white issue. They definitely should get residuals, but at the same time, you can't get money that doesn't exist. And
I feel like
pretty a lot of these streaming shows in particular, the stream boom is over because it's not a novelty anymore. There's a lot more streaming services. There's no lockdown. So a lot of these streaming services are just trying to fill with their services with content to keep people on to justify paying them. So they're not even caring about making a profit because they're not. A lot of them are losing money. Disney in particular have lost billions of dollars on Disney Plus. So
and it's stuff like that is a direct result of terrible decision making, and it's like that's business in general. And I was about to say, I feel like there's a lot of parallels between what's currently going on with the writer's strike and the actor's strike. And a lot of I don't know if you guys follow the WNBA, but in recent years they've been making a big fuss about wanting to be paid more, wanting better benefits and perks and things like that. And it's like, on one hand, we get where you're coming from, but on the other hand, you have to be able to justify that with actual profit margins that we don't see for your league because you're not really profitable. And we'll ignore that part in favor of, oh, well, LeBron gets this. LeBron generates billions of dollars for a league.
Yes.
Your league doesn't have that. So it's like, it's not as simple as what you want. It's like, can we justify this, making this investment in you? But you can hop in, Jay.
I was just talking about this with my wife earlier, about how the U.S. women's soccer team last night.
People were actually rooting against them.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm very patriotic. I love supporting our national teams, and the women's team is just insufferable. Like they felt like they should have been paid this because they actually win. That was the logic. Well, why do the men's team get paid so much? They don't ever actually win anything. Well, because the men's qualify for the World Cup, which is the literal biggest event in the world, where there's billions of dollars. They get the percentage that they're owed that they contributed to, and you get the same thing. I have no problem if like they worked out this new deal where they actually make money off of the men's team, their tournament. So the men are making less money now so that the women can make more money. And I don't have a problem with them getting their fair share of the pot that they're a part of, but I don't see why just because they're winning that they should be compensated more than the men who aren't winning and going as far. That was always my biggest issue, because like, for better or worse, you haven't grown your game to be as popular enough to get those endorsement deals, and not enough people watch.
Yeah,
so
that was the thing. They literally, the men literally just had a payment structure that they negotiated that was based on those incentives. Like they get, if they get certain attendance, they get certain viewership. They're getting that money. Like the WNBA, they are subsidized fully by the NBA. They have lost money every year that they have existed. Right. So the idea of them getting the same amount of a LeBron James contract when he himself generates more money in endorsements than they make the entire league generates in 2 years.
And I feel like they've tried everything that they can to like legitimize and grow the WNBA.
I don't think they have. There's some pretty obvious things they could do to grow the game, because there were some really talented female basketball players
like
that could be really good for the brand.
That All-Star game they just had where the girl Aya something,
she like 3-point contest.
Yeah, she hit like 23 of 25. I mean, like, that's unheard of. That's shooting a basketball at a basketball hoop like anybody else in the world can do. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, I know they're really against lowering the rims to like. But
they should lower it to 9. They should just lower it to 9 at least.
I feel like they should see where most women can get up, because you want them to be able to actually do something impressive while jumping there. Like, if you're barely able to dunk on 10, you're not going to be that much more impressive on 9 versus if you get up. Like, you can really show out on 8 feet versus, you get what I'm saying? Because like LeBron, he can jump at least a foot over the rim. Like, his arms can get well above the rim.
Yeah, but there's some women who are like 6'8", so I feel like 8 feet will be like maybe a little too excessive, but I think 9 will be fine, because there's some women who could really get. I've seen some, like I saw this woman in high school who was doing, she was not 6'8" at all, she was not like Brittany Griner's height, but she was doing clean 1-2 hand dunks.
That's like, with the NBA, it's like, think of teams like the Spurs, or like just real fundamental teams who like the 2000 Nets. They don't really have any. I mean, they had Kenyon Martin before he got injured,
Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, Richard Jefferson
and Jason Kidd throwing lobs.
Yeah, so it's like you got that, versus the Spurs, who are just fundamental under the rim basketball. Tim Duncan can dunk, but he's not really posterizing people the way KG or Shaq is dominating people on the rim with dunks and things like that.
And people always also complain that the Spurs are boring.
Exactly. That's my point. So
but until they had Manu, coming in doing the Euro steps, Tony Parker was like, one of the fastest players on the planet. So at least they had that.
Yeah. So it's like you got the Spurs paired with like the 2012 Heat. That's exciting because you got athleticism on one side and then you got core fundamentals and high execution on the other side. And that just makes for great basketball. Where with the WNBA, everybody's under the rim. And if somebody does dunk, it looks like an 8th grade dunk. You get what I'm saying? Well, 8th graders are doing more than that.
Way more.
So it's like, that excitement just really isn't there. So it's like, I get wanting more. Like if, you're a professional, player, but you're flying coach while NBA players are flying private and all of that stuff. It looks great over there, but they're also generating billions of dollars where you're generating no dollars. And it's like,
the WNBA needs to get with the times because for not even just lower the women's, but like women's in college are doing a lot better than women in WNBA because they're embracing social media, their branding. You have those twins who do a lot of Instagram stuff, they do a lot of YouTube collabs. Like they're growing their brand, and WNBA needs to embrace that. Find your great high personality players, focus on them, do social media stuff with them, get them in collabs, like use opportunities to cross promote and grow them instead of just relying on being shoehorned into the NBA All-Star Weekend every year. Like go out and do what some of these college female athletes are doing, and collaborate with big YouTubers. Do Instagram stuff. Do different events. Do park takeovers. Do interesting stuff to grow the brand and do lower the rims, and it'll be a much more interesting product because I know women do. I played with women at the D1 level. I've seen. I watched some of the stuff, mainly high school, college, and their potential for the game is there. It's just the WNBA needs to just stop listening to these people who don't know what they're talking about and just grow the brand.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like if Brittany Griner could really get up there and do some impressive dunks or windmills or something, or like just high intensity dunks over a defender, that would do a lot better and a lot more in terms of generating excitement for the league and something to talk about. You don't really have highlights. It's a bunch of jump shots and layups, and that's not a highlight reel. It's not what people are looking to see in a highlight reel, especially when you're competing with a league that's produced people like Vince Carter and Blake Griffin and LeBron James, Michael Jordan, all of these people who could do all of this stuff in the air. And it's like, hey, bro, like, let's just be real. And, just getting back to the writer aspect, it's like not all writers are created equal. Not all shows perform the same. So it's like, I understand looking for security, but if you're not really, you're not good at what you do, should a studio be, forced to carry the bag for you? Essentially, it's like,
that's why I'm looking at the minimum writer room. I'm like, I understand you want to preserve the writer room, but from the perspective of a business, like if I don't want to be in a situation where I need to hire someone for a project, and I need maybe 2 people, but I have to hire 10 because it's union, and maybe 1 or 2 of the writers are actually useful, and then the rest are just either contributing terrible ideas or do nothing, and you have to compensate them. So I understand from their perspective why they wouldn't be particularly interested in doing that, especially if their streaming service is losing billions of dollars, and then they just dropped a show that everyone is universally making fun of because of how poorly it's written. It's hard to sit across the negotiation table from the writers when Secret Invasion exists and hear them demand all this stuff, and it's like Yeah,
it's like we can objectively tell stuff is getting worse in terms of quality and production and writing and stuff. And it's like, I understand the price of living is going up, inflation exists, and all of that stuff. But it's like, I feel like you need to take a step back and reevaluate some things, both the studios and the actors and writers, and figure out what it is you're actually doing. Because right now you're oversaturating the market with a lot of bad products, which is why, Disney Plus is taking a hit. Disney as a brand is taking a major hit because you're just throwing a lot of stuff at the board and most of it is bad.
Yeah.
People aren't enjoying what you're doing. And then on top of that, you're attacking people who don't enjoy what you're doing because, either they're not smart enough to enjoy the bad product or, they're biased because they didn't enjoy the bad product. And it's like, it's a bad product. Like,
it's just bad. And I'm sure, and I know there's definitely room to give them more money because we know that Hollywood wastes a ton of money on these production, a lot of these productions. I mean, the fact that, like, I just saw an article from I think the Direct about how Loki's reported budget just came out, and it's like
112.
It says an eye-popping 112. I'm like, bro, Secret Invasion was 200 million. And the trailer for Loki looked better than the entire series. It's like, how are you spending all this money? Like, where's all this money going? So they need to. So I know part of the reason why there's no transparency, and that's one of the things they asked for. But part of the reason is because they know these streamers aren't profitable, but their investments rely on their stock price being a certain level. And if people knew how much they were really making or how much these shows are really generating, that could affect the stock price. So they like not having that transparency. But it would at the very least probably be in their best interest to try to figure out, how to bring down the cost of these productions, because I know there's definitely a lot of fat and bureaucracy that goes into this, because there's absolutely no way Secret Invasion legitimately was a $212 million. that was not $212 million quality. Like, it's just objectively not.
I mean, I feel like the budget either more than likely went to the actors and people behind the scenes instead of production quality and CGI effects. That probably got like maybe $1 million or $2 or something, and everything else went to Sam Jackson and the rest of the team. And it's like, you could tell, like, you can look at what was presented and tell you didn't really have anything here. Like, your biggest star outside of Samuel Jackson was Don Cheadle's War Machine, and it's like he doesn't even wear the armor.
We'll get Emilia Clarke,
the mother of dragons,
Daenerys Targaryen,
Emilia Clarke.
But
I'm
even
pretty
worse,
sure she got $100 million out of that deal.
Even worse, I heard they were editing the show even as it was airing. Like, they weren't even, like, what the hell was happening there? Like, you have more than just issue with the writers, and you have a very serious systemic management issue if you're still editing this show that's been in production for years as is airing. You spent $212 million and it looks like absolute shit.
It's like people want to like this stuff. You got people coping with what the show was, and how I'm not going to argue with you about how you feel about something we both watched. Whatever you felt for the show, that's your business. I don't care about that. I can disagree, but there's no need for a fight about that stuff. But there are people fighting on the internet about Secret Invasion. It's like, bro, this show is not worth that at all.
It's not a fight. It's either bad or you have no taste. Like, I don't, and that's fine. That's your business. But there's no arguing. Like, it's bad. Whoever wrote that should be embarrassed. to put their name
what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't have anything. Like, it's not shot in a stylistic way. There is no compelling action scenes. Like,
bro, I can
one scene.
Not for me.
just one scene. For I don't know if we have the same scene, Jay.
Helicopter scene.
The helicopter scene.
Yeah, that was trash.
Did you take
I'm
a
not saying it
stupid
was-
pill with your breakfast this
I'm
morning?
not gonna pick it out apart again. We did that
saying
last
that was
time.
the action scene.
And that's sad. Like that's what I'm saying. Like compare this show to Falcon and the Winter Soldier alone, which that show wasn't the best thing ever. I feel like it kind of got clumsy towards the end, like most of these shows tend to do. But you had some interesting fight scenes. You had some interesting plot, aspects going on. It feels like a big production, a step down from movies, but it feels like a step up from your traditional, TV media, and we got further and further away from those kind of productions. So WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier all felt like what they were advertised as. Like the writing kind of faltered in different places, but it feels like a streaming version of the MCU where by the time you get around to Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk and Secret Invasion, it's like, bro, I feel like you're running out of money at this point.
or so, apparently not. It's $212 million. Jesus Christ. Actually, just out of curiosity, because everyone was talking about AI, I actually went on ChatGPT and asked it to write me an outline of Secret Invasion, and I gave it the same parameters. I basically said it's 6 episodes for Disney Plus, grounded spy thriller starring Nick Fury, and it's basically a follow-up to Captain Marvel, and it's a lead-in to the Marvels. And I kid you not, it gave me a much better script than the actual Secret Invasion. The script, that the outline that ChatGPT gave me for what the Secret Invasion is with those parameters was basically, instead of the absolute dog order that we got, the show would actually be starring Nick Fury and Monica Rambeau, who get an alert while they're in the Sword Station about some activity on Earth, and they find out that the Skrulls have invaded, and they're warned by Talos. So they go down to investigate, and they end up having to piece together just how much society has been infiltrated. After they learned some people that they thought they trusted weren't who they said they were, and they have a small team. So you bring in, it's Monica Rambeau, it's Nick Fury, it's Daisy, and they're trying to break down this plot and basically warn the world about the Skrull invasion. And I'm reading this, I'm like, this is already way more interesting than the actual show that we got, and makes a lot more sense, because why is Monica Rambeau not involved in this at all? Like, this is supposed to be a setup for the Marvels. Why did they not really implement the space station at all, except for, well, Fury was up there for who knows why, and then he beams down, and then he beams back up at the end with his wife. Like, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's like, honestly, what you just shared from ChatGPT is like that. Anything would be more interesting. Like, you could be mildly familiar with the story and come up with something much better than what they put together for that show. And it's like, not like, even having watched every episode of that show, there's just so much that doesn't make sense. And it's not because I don't know the answers. Your answers suck. So why Nick Fury came back to Earth after all the stuff you didn't come back for, you chose to come back because a SHIELD agent got killed by a Skrull. Is like, I don't think that would get you down there. I saw nothing in any of those episodes that would make Nick Fury have to come down, because he's the only person who can handle this. And based on the show's own lore, Nick Fury isn't what we think he is anyway. Yeah. So, hey, Talos, take care of that. You're better qualified than I am. And that's the show.
And he left when it was worse than when he got there. Like, when he got there, a agent got killed. When he left, there were still a million people that were abducted by the Skrulls. The president of the United States declared war on their entire species, and the one who was previously working with Gravik to destroy humanity now has all the powers of pretty much everyone in the MCU. And Fury just like, hey, I'm just going to go back up.
And it's like the fact that push came from Kevin Feige himself is like,
I feel like they kind of threw him under the
or somebody who was helping out behind the scenes along the way up until like Endgame has left this project, and we're suffering now because of that. Because I don't know what's going on, but that the fact that you thought after those boring episodes that a terrible CGI fight scene would placate fans who suffered through this nonsense of a show it just shows like you really do not know what's going on with your fans.
No.
You're very with what this whole thing is supposed to be and what it's supposed to be building towards. And it's like these Disney Plus shows, with them being connected to the MCU, it should feel far more connected than what we've seen in these later shows. So, you know, seeing Quicksilver show up in WandaVision, that was dope. You know, seeing Kang get introduced in Loki, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier running around in the show. You got Agent Carter showing up over there, even though that was kind of handled clumsily. It feels like something. You even got like the fact that She-Hulk had bigger and better cameos than Secret Invasion, which is a storyline that's supposed to involve all the heroes.
Very true.
What are we doing? Like, what are we literally doing? Spider-Man. What are we doing?
How did that actually happen? You had Hulk. You had freaking Wong, the current Sorcerer Supreme.
You got Titania's. Like we had actual villains going around. It's like people gassing up the graphic stuff. It's like, what was that? What did he do? What did he do to impress you people? Like, I don't know.
Wow.
Trash. Yeah, that show was tragic. It's like I feel bad for even talking about it at this point, because it's like, just let that thing die and be forgotten and whatever.
Well,
I don't know.
The MCU is moving on because they're ready to watch the taste of Secret Invasion out of our mouths by giving us another season of I Am Groot. Let's go.
Did you see what they're what Disney wants to do with the Mandalorian, the next season of the Mandalorian?
I thought they canceled that. What are we talking?
No, that's like one of the few things that does well for them. You know what they want to do? They want to put it in theaters.
They want to put the season. They want to put season 3 in theaters.
They want season 3 to be turned into a movie and put in theaters.
I get it.
I mean, they have.
Why do you think that is? Because it'll make up $1 billion.
Will it though?
I don't think it will.
I think right now the Mandalorian, as far as Star Wars goes, is their golden child. Like, I feel like they don't really miss. Is it going
to be a Mandalorian movie though?
Honestly, I feel like you know better
right?
than I would. I haven't watched a single episode of that show other than clips I saw online, so I'm not the authority on that. I'll trust your judgment.
It's decent, but the latest season was not as good as some of the previous ones, but it's definitely one of the highlights of the Disney Star Wars era, where there have not been many.
See why, like, it having a Western feel to it, while staying within the realm of what people like about Star Wars. I feel like that's something where I feel like, the writers actually tried, and you had actually talented people working on this show behind the scenes based on word of mouth. I haven't seen the show, so it's like I can't attest to that, but based on reviews, based on things I've heard, and based on the show's success, you're doing something right.
I mean, unfortunately, it didn't carry over to the Book of Boba Fett. They basically didn't get good until they turned it into the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think the problem they had with the Book of Boba Fett is they didn't really explain what the book was and what that meant, and that it was a Boba Fett show, but it was also meant to be the Mandalorian 2.5. Or 1.5 or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah. That was essentially, because it's like they also fundamentally just didn't understand the appeal of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
like Boba Fett's not a good character. Boba Fett people like Boba Fett because he looks cool, and he's mysterious.
Yeah, Boba Fett been a cameo in Mandalorian and left it at that.
Boba Fett actually, Like that was the original reason why, like Boba Fett took on a life of his own. That's the exact reason, because he looked like a badass and he was very mysterious, very few parts. But like the books and comics, like they explained why Boba was great. Plus, you have all of his, come up in.
But they didn't
Clone
adapt.
Wars and
They
stuff.
didn't adapt any of those.
Exactly. No, I agree. I agree.
And they said they gave us the Mandalorian, which basically ended up being, oh, that's basically like the Boba Fett show, but not. Man, and we'll roll with that. But an actual Boba Fett show, they should have gone the opposite of the Mandalorian. They should have definitely borrowed from the comics, or just made it just about this badass mysterious assassin.
Yeah.
Honestly, all I want from Disney, Marvel at this point is to just bring back the original team that was working on Luke Cage and give us season 3. And just let them do their thing. Stay out of the way, give them a budget, and get out of the way.
Well,
that's all I want.
Well, I don't know if we can give you that, but I think we have something better for you, Casual, than another season of Luke Cage. As much as that would probably be fun, wouldn't you much rather get a special episode of Witch's Road as part of the Agatha Coven of Chaos, an adaptation of the Scarlet Witch's Road storyline?
That sounds cringe. Like everything you just said.
You say that.
Wow.
You say that, but it's rumored to be getting the directing talents of the woman that did a couple episodes of Wednesday on Netflix.
They just
another show I didn't watch.
I know you guys aren't big fighting game fans, but we just had a major announcement at Evo.
Talking about Street Fighter Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Is it about Marvel versus Capcom?
Nope, I can present it though.
Let's see.
It better be good.
I think you're gonna like it.
I better.
I am a fighting game fan. Yo.
Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Street Fighter, available August 8th.
Coming Tuesday, you're gonna be able to play as the Turtles.
Okay.
And Street Fighter 6 is Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Are these like custom characters, or like
I think it says costumes, so I'm assuming you can make your character a Ninja Turtle.
Okay.
Because in this game you create your own character,
right? And
I'm pretty sure
I'm sure people modded them already, along with modding Chun-Li's clothes off. But now you can have official Ninja Turtle costumes. That's pretty. They look pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was worth interrupting.
It wasn't.
For the record.
Actually, you saved us from that terrible segment about the Halloween Town version of WandaVision. Oh my gosh! When I see these announcements, I just envision their stock just plummeting even more. Just like, what are you doing,
bigot?
And I have no stock in that. I literally got no stake in that game. I wasn't, big on WandaVision overall, and I definitely wasn't looking forward to Agatha Harkness having a spinoff show. But a lot of people are, and I genuinely hope they have fun with the series, and I genuinely hope people get what they want from that. The people who are looking for it, because at the end of the day, people should be able to enjoy things that you're making and that they're looking forward to.
And the thing is, a Witch's Road adaptation would be really good, but I have no faith that they would do it properly at this point, because Wanda was start out like they did Wanda. They did a really good job with Wanda, up until the second half of WandaVision. then it just all went to shit. So
they did a good job with WandaVision until they didn't.
WandaVision was half really, really good. So I can't. I really can't.
It was like I said. They had a lot of interesting plot points going on, a lot of interesting mysteries. So they knew how to hook you going into the next episode, waiting to see what's going to happen next. Up until about episode 7, I think 6 or 7, one of the two. Yeah, I think it was like episode 6. After the events of episode 6, we kind of started going on a downward trajectory, I guess.
Part of me just hangs on because I feel like at a certain point there has to be like a situation where there's like, okay, enough of this. Like we gotta reel this in. Like there's only so many flops that they can take before they, and we've always seen signs of them like reevaluating, talk about pulling back. First I think they need to fire Bob Iger, but
they literally just brought him back.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Like they never should have brought it back. Like that was ridiculous. But Feige needs to be out of there. Like they need fresh blood that can take the reins and actually get Marvel back on track. Respect the source material, hire good writers. Like get back to basics. Yeah. Manage your budgets properly. Don't work your VFX artists into the ground. Like be a responsible company and put out good product again.
It's like, I like I said, I honestly don't know where they go from here. But
Deadpool 3, I mean, whenever that comes off of hiatus because the strike.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that delivers. that holds up. I know people are excited for it. I'm willing to give it a chance. Obviously.
Honestly, if they hire me, I'd just sit on ChatGPT and like, this is how it's done.
It's like I would love a chance to just be in the room with that kind of stuff. And I feel the same way about gaming, which is I was going to mention that as well. Like you're just seeing it across the board where these different creatives who are being called out for putting out bad products, they're, instead of taking that feedback, and a lot, it's the internet. I know a lot of nonsense gets thrown at them, mixed in with, or under the guise of criticism. But it's like, honestly, there is some valid criticism being made against these projects, both in gaming, movies, and TV, and the response is, oh well, let's attack the fans, or the fans are bad, or the fans are the problem. And it's like, if this many people are not vibing with whatever you're making, it's like you can't just be like, oh, well, everybody's just an asshole against my project.
Yeah,
it's like, what are we doing?
I mean, when even the media is against you, it's like, okay, well, like where's your excuse now? The show media, everyone is saying no, your product sucks. Like you haven't really no way to hide on that one. It's like, no, you just took an L on that one.
It's like you hate to see it, because it's like, yes, there are people who are just genuinely obnoxious and looking for negative engagement. But if people are like, hey, this isn't, I've seen developers in comment sections fighting for their life. And it's like, bro, like, oh, well, development is hard. It's like, come on, bro. It's not going to hold up in here. Like, you literally released a broke game. It's like, you can't be like, hey, development is hard. Yeah. You guys don't understand.
You can't tell someone who just gave your company $70 that development is hard when you sold them a pile of shit. Yeah, they can't get refunded.
I don't want to throw my company under the bus, but I'm still a person who gets, like, hey, I wasn't looking forward to buying a broken product, or I wasn't looking to pay for a movie ticket to see a terrible movie. And like, hey, we kind of crapped the bed. We're sorry. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can fix it with a patch. Maybe we can, bring in a different writing team and fix the sequel or something. But like, the people who made Mortal Kombat Alliance aren't defending that movie. They know what they did. They tried to make some quick money before, the craze went away and got out of there. And it's like, oh no, this isn't doing nearly as well as the original because we took shortcuts. This looks like cosplay in a lot of regards. And the plot is just ridiculous, but who cares? It's Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? But they're not telling us the movie was actually good and we just didn't get it.
Jay looks like he's either falling asleep or getting a great blowjob.
Neither.
Yeah, it's almost 9:30. I'm down with wrapping it up, or hopping out for a bit so I can grab some dinner. I got to get up early tomorrow.
It's around that time anyway, so we can wrap it up. We've surprisingly hit all the topics and had a lot of time to freestyle. We got another Jayshockblast short coming soon. as soon as I finish editing it, I'll be posting it tomorrow on the channel. So look out for that. Thank you once again for your contributions, Mr. Shockblast. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm glad that Casual could join us. Hopefully, he'll be back full time. Thank you all for the new members as well, for becoming backstage pass members. Shout out to y'all. I guess we'll still work on finding another guest. And someone actually asked me about doing something again with Caboose, and I remembered what Jay said about like getting Caboose and Uncaged on at the same time.
I can chat with them. They're at Evo right now.
Yeah,
I feel like just before Mortal Kombat comes out, maybe by the end of the month, there will be a lot to talk about.
I feel like that would probably be a good time. And in the meantime, maybe I'll try to get someone from Arrow who's not participating in a writer strike to jump on, since Jay dropped the ball in that regard. I'll see if we could find someone that's not bound by the SAG rules. So once again, thank you everyone for hanging out. We'll see you all next week if Jay doesn't fall asleep on Friday again. I'm Sadot the Gamer.
Casual Avenger.
I don't nap on Friday nights.
Zip it up and zip it out. Peace.